Dennis Allen interview at the Saints Rookie Minicamp. Ladies and gentlemen, it is here. Football season is upon us. Multiple videos a day. The superstar will be reacting to anything that I see. And today, what I see is head coach Dennis Allen of the New Orleans Saints. Let's go ahead and listen to what the media asked Dennis. Dennis looking slim, looking trim. I respect that. It's never wrong to be strong. Okay, visor. Again, Dennis Allen, I'm pretty sure, was birthed with a visor. Visor attached. We got all the big dogs are out there. WGNO, WWL. I see all the microphones. Can't wait to hear the questions. Let's get right into it, huh?
Good to have everybody back out here again. Practicing a little ball. It's been fun. Got the rookies out here a couple of days. It's a little warm out here. Guys, getting back into football shape a little bit, but we've had a couple of pretty decent days of work.
Dean, I know it's obviously very early in the process, but have you seen Clint kind of?
I gotta love this guy sneaking up from the back, sneaking up from the side. All these microphones up front. He said, "No thanks. I'm going around the corner." Okay, he's going blindside. No Sandra Bullock. I respect that.
Assimilating with his teachings and those kinds of things.
Yeah, look, I think the offensive staff in general is doing a really good job. They're doing a good job of implementing the system, both with.
Dennis, what are you looking at? Why is he staring into the heavens? What is going on here? He's looking to the great above. Dennis, let's drop. I mean, what's happening? This is crazy. I've never seen. It looks like he's Moses or something getting the tablets. I hope he is getting the tablets, and I hope they have some offensive play calls on there. I hope the golden tablets that he gets from the top of the mountain that he's looking and summoning from above. I hope those tablets have screens for Alvin Kamara. I hope those tablets have Alvin Kamara lined up as a receiver in the slot. That's what I hope it has. I hope the tablets, the golden tablets being dropped down from above on Airline Drive, I hope those tablets have plays that will allow us to score in the opening possession of the game, that will allow us to convert on third down, that will allow us to score in the red zone. So if you're looking at the great above, Dennis, make sure that there's some offensive plays on those tablets, son.
With these rookies and also
God, I'm on a different
with
level.
The vets in the building. Certainly we've got a lot of work to do. But I think it's been a good start. The guys are working really hard, all of them, players, coaches, everybody. It's been fun to see.
Fuaga getting some starts. The kids that run on the left side today.
Yeah.
If I don't think y'all can hear the question, as always, the viewer, ladies and gentlemen, you, the viewer, are always at the top of my mind, the top of my heart. So if I believe that the question is too low audibly, then I shall repeat it. He asked about Taliese Fuaga, a.k.a. Oos, a.k.a. we acknowledge the tribal chief. Asked about Fuaga playing on the left side. We'll see what Dennis has to say. I think it's all right. I don't think it's that big of a deal, ladies and gentlemen. I know a lot of people are popping off about Fuaga going to the left. What's this mean? I think they're just taking a little look-see, okay? They have hours and hours and days and minutes and weeks and weeks of game footage and tape of Fuaga on the right. Hey, let's go ahead and take a look at what he's got on the left. Let's just adventure a little bit. Let's get a little loosey goosey. Let's see what he's got. If it works out, not cool. If it doesn't work out, sling him back over to the right, and we'll just keep him there. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. It may become a big deal later if Ramczyk's knee gets better. Who knows? But I'll monitor the situation and react accordingly.
Yeah. So we look. I think we want to take a look at him on the left side. And see how he does over there. I think we're pretty confident that he can play right tackle. And so getting him some work over on the left side, I think, is important. And then we'll evaluate it as we go and see how he does.
I will say, though, I always make this comparison, but Carrot Top, the famous comedian who worked with props his entire career, when Carrot Top got to the movies, when he got big enough, when he became a big enough comic and a big enough draw to get his own movies and star in his own movies, they flopped. And the reason the movies flopped were because Carrot Top, they didn't allow him to use his props in the movies. So the thing that he used to propel himself to the height of superstardom, maybe the height of superstardom might be a bit strong, but they took it away at the worst possible time. There is a little bit of that to this, where, like Dennis just said, Taliese Fuaga, we know he can play right tackle. Let's see what he can do on the left. It's yeah, I get that, my man, but you did draft the guy 14th overall. It is his second practice as a pro. How about you do let him, kind kind of get comfortable at the position that he played the entirety of his collegiate career to get himself drafted. I don't have a problem telling him to take a few reps or whatever at the left and just see how the footwork looks and see how it feels. But it does feel a little bit like fish out of water type situation to toss him in, put him on the left. And maybe that's part of this too. I'm really spitballing here, but maybe they're saying let's make him as uncomfortable as possible to see, feet to the fire kind of thing, just see how he handles them, mentally, which I think would be insane. I think that's a bit much for a rookie minicamp. But then again, what do you know? I'm the fastest growing channel in sports media, really, in general, and Dennis Allen's the head coach. So I guess we got to trust Dennis Allen, even though he's about 40 games under 500. So if he wants to do some weird psychological experiment with Taliese Fuaga in the second practice, I guess there's a reason you're 30 games under 500.
The plan is for him to get a lot of work at both sides, or heavy left, since that's
Starting off, we're going to work him primarily over on the left side, and then we'll evaluate it as it goes. I mean, we haven't made any decisions in terms of concrete decisions. Sure. But yet that's where we're going to start him right now. We wanted to get him a lot of work in this camp, see how he does in this camp, and then we'll reevaluate after this camp. So
okay. Okay. Now again, guys, these are all live reactions, so Dennis with that response makes it sound like he kind of plans on playing him primarily on the left. I mean, Dennis just said right now he's going to work primarily on the left, especially in this rookie minicamp, and we'll see how it goes. Question number one for me would be, if that's I guess it's not a question, but my first thought would be, if that's the case and Taliese Fuaga works out on the left, let's say he's good on the left, let's say they feel like, okay, he's our left tackle. I mean, is Trevor Penning, is he updating his LinkedIn resume? Is Trevor Penning trying to figure out what he can put down under skills and professional experience? Because he's got to be on the first bus out of here. If Taliese Fuaga comes in and within 48 hours becomes your left tackle, I mean, Trevor Penning, my God. I mean, I know we make a lot of goofs and gaffes and jokes about Trevor Penning, but he might be even worse than we think if that's the case. My second thought would be, okay, let's say Fuaga plays on the left. What the hell do you do with the right? Is Ryan Ramczyk doing better than we all think? Does Ryan Ramczyk have a shot at playing? Because I tell you this, if all of a sudden we start the season with Taliese Fuaga as our left tackle and Ryan Ramczyk as our right tackle, that kind of changes the how the offensive line is perceived, does it not? All of a sudden, the offensive line isn't too bad on paper. So, I mean, this is one of those things where it's very interesting. Taliese Fuaga primarily starting off on the left. I mean, this is some out-of-the-box thinking here from the New Orleans Saints staff. This is a risky business from Dennis Allen. This is very risky business.
Is that more about that being your vision or hope for him, or is that more about he needs the reps?
I think it's more about, let's see if he can play left tackle or not. All right, and let's get him over here on the left side and get him some work there. He hadn't had a lot of work on the left side, none in game action, so get him some reps over there and see what he can do.
Well, you guys try to.
He's kind of speaking, I'm not going to lie, ladies and gentlemen, I'm befuddled. He's kind of speaking out of both sides of his mouth. On one hand, I'm with you, Dennis. I'm with you on the idea of, let's see what happens. Like, why not? It's not that big of a deal. Let's just try him out there. We know what he can do at the right. Let's just see how it works. This is a low-pressure environment. That's a far cry from saying he's going to primarily play on the left. Because if he's going to primarily play on the left, that would also, if I'm using my, deductive reasoning, that I could also deduce that if he's going to primarily play on the left, your vision for him might be to play on the left side, which would then unearth a whole bunch of different questions.
Cross-train like Trevor and some of the other guys too?
We're going to cross-train a lot of guys. Yeah. That's the reality of, our league. The more you can do, the more positions you can play.
So they asked, does that mean they're going to cross-train Trevor Penning? Dennis said they're going to cross-train a lot of guys. I hope they do cross-train Trevor Penning, because if Taliese Fuaga plays left tackle, then Trevor Penning needs to be cross-trained in things like selling insurance and things like selling honey roasted pecans at game day. He needs to be cross-trained in valet. He needs to be cross-trained in security at a Circuit City or a Radio Shack. He needs to be cross-trained in how to sell cell phones at the local Verizon store attached to the Flemings in Metairie. Because if Taliese Fuaga plays left tackle, then Trevor Penning needs to be cross-trained in a different career because he won't be on the New Orleans Saints.
Hey, can you play right? Can you play left? Can you go inside? All those things are things that we're going to definitely look at.
Ladies and gentlemen, I understand. I can barely hear the questions. I don't understand why they keep putting the coaches and players outside. It is next to an airport. This is not good for interviews. Having overhead airplanes landing above you, and I can hear, get them inside. Get into a soundproof room. Have a media room. You're a multi-billion-dollar team. You're a multi-billion-dollar organization. How difficult is it to have a room where you can conduct these interviews? It's not like we're seeing the field. It's not like the reason for being outside is because we get to see the beautiful view of the field. We get the same background this might be a green screen for all I know. Put them inside. Do the interviews next to the squat rack. It's crazy. It happens all season long.
And what you interviewed today?
Well, it's probably a better question to ask him, but he certainly looked fine to me. You know what I mean? I thought he's the last couple of days, I think he's done a pretty good job, getting guys in and out of the huddle. For the most part, there hadn't been a lot of re-huddles. We're getting calls out and guys are executing.
Dennis, one of your tryout players is from D2 West Florida, offensive lineman Desmond Bland. What do you want to see out of him? What does he need to do to stick here and be in an OTA?
Yeah, well, look.
Question was, one of the undrafted free agents is a D2 lineman out of West Florida. I think you said, what does he need to do to stick around here?
I think the first thing is, the most important thing is, do you know what to do? And that's generally been the message to all these players, whether they're signed or they're tryout players, is we can't really evaluate your ability unless you know what to do. And so that would be the first thing.
That's a good answer. If you don't know what your assignment is, how are you supposed to be judged on how you're doing with the assignment? You know what I'm saying?
And then we'll kind of go from there.
Coach Allen, your impression with Bub Means, it seems like he's confident out there.
Question was about Bub Means. I think he said it looks like he's confident. That guy, I don't even know if that guy was in Metairie. He might have had one of those aluminum cans with the string attached to it 3 counties over. Something Bub Means, confident, something Bub Means.
Yeah, look, I think for the first couple of days, I think he's done some good things. Yesterday, he got cut a little short with some cramps, so he's got to get himself into shape.
Bub, damn it, brother, how is that possible? How can you possibly? I guess he did play at Pittsburgh, so he might not be totally used to the heat. I'm not sure where he's originally from. It is hot. It was hot this weekend. We're touching 90 here in New Orleans. I'm sure the practice facility is just about as hot. But drink some pickle juice. How are we cramping up? If you get drafted, get the Pedialyte, get the Gatorlyte, get the pickle shots, get whatever you got to do, salt tablets. You can't be cramping up first day of practice. That's a tough look. I'm not gonna lie, that's a tough look.
But if he's in shape and ready to go, I think there's some talent there. He's big. He's got some physicality. He can run. So there's a lot of good qualities there.
I don't think we saw.
That's brutal. That's brutal to be a rookie. You're trying to make a name for yourself, and the first line of questioning is, if he's in shape, he might be all right. Get yourself in shape, bub. Get on. Get on the treadmill.
Aziram or forward? Is there anything going on with that?
Both of those are dealing with some, call it, minor injuries.
With the moving parts of having the new offensive coordinator and a rookie minicamp, how much of what you want to see has already started to show?
All right. Question was, new offensive coordinator at rookie minicamp. How much of what you wanted to see have you already seen, or something like that?
The offensive players to grasp the UBX system.
Well, look, we're talking about a rookie minicamp right now, so we're like in the very infant stages of what we're doing. We've progressed a lot more with the vet players that we've had in here for the last 4 weeks. So, look, we're making progress. We got a long way to go, but we're making progress.
That's what kind of is when you're bringing in a completely new system. What kind of is like the first thing you want guys to pick up, and how's it kind of helping?
Yeah.
Guys?
All right, so the question was, when you're bringing in a new system, what is some of the first things you want to pick up? I'm assuming Dennis is going to go back to the knowing what to do kind of thing, which probably is true also. Like the idea that you're bringing in a new system and all that stuff, we want to see, these like new awesome plays. We want to see this new awesome play calling. We want to see red zone. We want to see, car, play action to Olave. We want to see Kamara running screens. We can't get to any of that until the system and the scheme is actually implemented. So at the beginning, it is boring of an answer, but the answer probably is like, learn the system, learn the playbook, learn what we're trying to do. We can't get complex without getting simple first. There isn't a foundation. There isn't, I mean, there's been 4 weeks or whatever that Dennis said, but there really isn't a foundation to go off of. So right now, as a fan, what we want to see is we want to see the players get really familiar with the system, really familiar with the playbook, really familiar with all of that, so that then Kubiak and co. can kind of branch off and get more complex with what he wants to do.
Well, look, I think the biggest thing is the verbiage.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest adjustment that, all players have as they go from system to system. I think the verbiage that we have now is a little less wordy than maybe what we've had in the past, which I think, can benefit, our players and hopefully.
I think verbiage is synonymous with just like understanding. I mean, I think we basically said the same thing. I don't get too caught up in the idea of the words itself, but I definitely think that understanding the system at a foundational level is important for sure. And the verbiage thing, like, I remember watching like whatever the show was on ESPN, the Quarterback Room or whatever with Gruden, and John Gruden would do his play calls, and they were like 14 words long. And ladies and gentlemen, in all walks of life, whether you're telling a story, whether you're writing, whether you're creating videos or content, or even just working at a regular type job or whatever, or calling plays in the NFL, complex doesn't mean smart. Complex doesn't mean better. Sometimes simpler, like restaurants. Like if you're doing a menu or a recipe, a lot of the times, the longer the recipe and the longer the menu, the worse it is, or the longer the description is, the worse it is. There's a reason that like the best foods all just start with the same thing, like onions, butter, garlic, olive oil. Like it's all the same base, right? Once you start adding rhubarb chutney and all these random things that don't do anything, once you start adding all of that, dry ice this and liquid nitrogen this and freeze this and then, sliver this on here. And all of a sudden you're looking at this like, what is this even food? So complex doesn't always mean great or better or upgraded or professional or whatever. So if a play or a playbook or a scheme is wordy just to be wordy, I mean, what good is that,
Look, I think the hope in terms of the system is, that we can kind of simplify and get guys not having to think so much and get guys playing faster. And I think that's part of what we're trying to do. All good?
Dennis, I'll tell you this, my man. This is the first we're doing of this. First interview of Dennis Allen of this year. Whew, buckle up. I'll tell you that right now, ladies and gentlemen. Buckle up. The amount of content that we are going to be pumping out on this channel is going to be absolutely outrageous. I mean, just think about what we've done in the last couple of months. Think about the explosive growth. Think about the stream. Think about the draft day. Think about the draft coverage. Think about the lead up and all that stuff. And this is the off season. There aren't even games being played. Imagine when we have games being played. Imagine when we're previewing, when we're reviewing. Imagine all of that. Imagine the player interviews. Imagine the Derek Carr interviews, the Dennis Allen interviews, the Clint Kubiaks. Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, we are going to the top. We are going to the top, and we are getting there fast. So get in the car, get your hands, feet, arms inside of the moving vehicle, buckle up, and keep looking forward. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. I appreciate it. Get in the comments below. Let me know what you think about what Dennis had to say. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate the support. I will see you in the next video.